Next up, we've got text functions. Now, this is another set of functions that looks and feels almost identical between DAX and Excel and some other tools that you're probably used to. Some of those same kind of left, mid, right functions, upper, lower, capitalization. We've got substitute and search. And so hopefully many of you are already pretty comfortable with these formulas. So let's quickly breeze through them. All right, starting with length, this returns the number of characters within a string. And you just simply point this to a column containing a text, and you're done. Next, we've got concatenate, which joins two strings into one. One thing to note here is that it's two and only two, right? So this behaves very much like the and or statements that can only take in two logicals. So when you write out concatenate as a full function, you're limited to just those two text inputs, which is obviously kind of silly and restrictive, especially after going through all the trouble of typing that full concatenate function out. So just like you can use the double ampersand to replace an and statement and give you more flexibility with your logical statements, you can use a single ampersand to replace concatenate and allow you to combine more than two text strings. So when you think about it that way, I really don't know why anyone would ever want to use this traditional concatenate function because it's pretty inconvenient to write and extremely restrictive. So as a best practice here, just use the ampersand if you really need to concatenate strings. Upper and lower, this is all capitalization stuff here. Upper is all uppercase, lower is all lowercase. And again, super simple syntax. Just point it to a text column. Next, we've got some of my favorites, left, mid, and right. These allow you to return a number of characters from either the start, the middle, or the end of a string. And pretty simple syntax here for left and right. You point to the text column and then indicate a number of characters. Note that that's an optional argument. If you don't put anything there, it will return 1. So 1 is the default number of characters. For mid, there's an extra argument to point to text. You say, hey, I want to start in character position 4 or 5 or whatever position you want, and then extend or return a specific number of characters from there. Next is substitute, and this one's pretty fun. You can replace an instance of existing text with any new text that you choose within a string. So this one has a few more arguments here. You start by pointing to a text column. You indicate the old text or the text that currently exists within that string. And then the new text is what you want to replace that with. And then you have this fourth optional argument for instance number, where you can tell Power BI, I want to substitute my underscores with a dash, but I want to skip the first one. In that case, you can specifically target only the second underscore or the third or the fourth. So a lot of flexibility with that substitute function. And then last but not least, you've got search, which returns the position where the specified string or character is found. And by default, Power BI is going to read from left to right. So when you type this function, you're going to say, okay, I'm searching this particular text string. That's the find text argument. And then within text is where you're looking for it. So generally, that's a column containing the original text values. And now those are the only two required arguments, right? Find text and then within text. So you may be wondering, okay, you're searching for certain characters or text within a string, but then if that's the end of the function, what's it going to return? And the results that the search function yields is a number. And that number indicates the position of the text it finds. So if, for instance, you said, search for the word house within the text doghouse, that function would return a 4 since it found house starting in the fourth character of that larger string. Now you have two optional arguments as well. The start position, so you can indicate if you don't want to start at the very beginning of the string. You could, for instance, start 5 or 10 or 20 characters in. And then last but not least, we have our not found value, which is where you can indicate a value to return in cases where the characters or text that you're looking for isn't found. Let's jump back over to our report and we'll quickly try a couple of these out. All right, so we're back in the report. And for this first demo, I want to show you the concatenate function. And we've actually got a good opportunity here to, again, kind of practice being able to create columns in different places. So we're going to create a new column with DAX for customer full name. So again, same drill here. We're going to add a new column. And we're going to call this customer full name. CC for calculated column, right? We'll return down our line. And if we were to type out that full concatenate function, we only get two options here, text 1 and text 2. That's it, right? It joins two text strings into one text string. And because we've got 3 inputs, that ampersand is a great solution here. So what we're going to do is we're going to search for the first field that we want, which is the prefix. And then from here, we're going to use the ampersand, and then we'll space over. And keep in mind, if I just go ahead and reference the first name right now, well, actually, in fact, let me do that as part of the demo, right? So we'll do first name, space, ampersand, and then last name. And we'll lock this in. So you can see that this worked exactly like we asked it to, right? We said, hey, take the prefix and then concatenate that with the first name and also the last name, right? But this isn't very readable, right? We don't have any spaces or anything in here. So fortunately, this is super easy to fix. We're going to jump back over here into the formula bar. And all we need to do is we need to add some additional logic here to our concatenate to add in some spaces. So let me move my cursor here. We do space, and then we add our quotes in, and then add another concatenate. So we're saying, hey, give me the prefix, and then we're going to concatenate a space, and then we're going to concatenate first name, and then same thing here as well, right? We're going to add another space in between our first name and last name. So once we've adjusted this, we can lock this in, and there you go. We've got Mr. space Shannon space Carlson. And we've got the right kind of format here that we were looking for. So there you go. The full name matches with our original full name column from the query editor. So it's just another good example there of 2 ways to accomplish the same thing. All right, so one more demo here. And for this one, we're going to jump over into our calendar table. And what I'd like to do here is come up with a way to return a short version of our month name column. And so this is a great way to use one of those text functions. And in this case, we can use left, right? So let's add a new column, right? So we're going to call this month short equals, and then we'll return down our line, and we're going to start typing in left. We've got one mandatory parameter, which is text, and then the number of characters to return. So if we return down a line, we want to look at our month name column, right? So month name, and then the number of characters that we return, remember this is from the left, we want to return 3, right? So we'll return down, close our parentheses, and there you go. You can look at these, APR, AUG, DEC. Awesome, so everything looks good there. All right, so there you have it. A couple of quick demos on how to use text functions in calculated columns.